I would say the most critical thing is just making sure that everything is cleaned up, that you've, reviewed everything from the whole year, making sure that you have all your employees' files together, making sure your taxes and stuff are all together, your gross wages, employee files such as addresses and those last finishing things just to kind of close up the end of the year, um, gathering it, making sure that it's organized and it's all in one place, so that way when you get time to closing out, that it's very easy to kind of follow with what steps you need and what things need to be done first to last. It kind of fluctuates. Some years it has to do with a lot of wages and manual checks. A lot of clients write checks throughout the year for missing wages or missing hours or pay increases, and you forget to kind of log those things so it doesn't add it to the employee's gross wages. Those things will make your W-2s off, it'll make your corporate taxes off, it'll make your quarterly taxes off. You run into a lot of issues when it comes to benefits, and how you've allocated those benefits to certain boxes within your W-2s, and how those year-end processing works when you're reporting your ACAs and things like that. So, just really just things that are kind of missed throughout the year that you kind of forget that you've done, which is why it's important to kind of go through with what's happened throughout the year and make sure that you have everything together so you don't miss those very key things that were kind of done during those busy times for your business. No, nothing really towards the end of the year. It's a lot of things that are coming up for beginning of the year. A lot of states have changes when it comes to pay rates, when it comes to benefit rules, when it comes to sick time and vacation time that you have to allow your employees. Something that's recent is 401k or retirement. It is going to be made mandatory for 2025, where all employees will be required to have some type of a retirement plan available to them or that they're enrolled in. So, just really knowing what's coming up for the new year is something that starts populating towards November. And then it rolls out normally the beginning of the year. You kind of run into a couple things throughout the year, but most of the changes that happen are towards the end of the year. All companies are required to have their W-2s completed and postmarked by January 31st. There are a few companies out there that will help you with your W-2 processing. Um, Something that all companies should be aware of is making sure that all of your pay codes were accurately set up, whether they're supposed to be taxed or non-taxed, whether they're sheltered wages, and that comes from, if you have medical pre-tax deductions, if you have um, supplemental plans like Aflac or Colonial Life that will affect those gross wages, and making sure that those are going to be allocated to the correct box within the employee's W-2s. It is also something that I recommend a lot of our clients to have their internal accounting team or their CPA review their payroll reports and make sure that their employees were being taxed properly, that their deductions are being honored correctly. One company that we use and have used for years is Solve, and that's SOLVE, and they help us process our W-2s. So we send them the files, they process them, and they actually ship them out to all employees. They help with your year-end tax filings as well. So really utilizing those third-party companies will help you keep everything in line and make sure that they're reported correctly. But if you don't use a third-party company, definitely make sure you have a CPA or an internal accountant that is aware of how W-2s and corporate taxes are filed. I would highly recommend using like a year-end calendar. Something that we do is we go through each department and we put down all the things that need to be done at the end of the year per department. And then we figure out when everything needs to happen by. So, you have to start doing labor law posters in November and start getting those ordered so that way they're sent out for, January. You have to start doing your safety visits for workers' comp and make sure that you're covered there. When it comes to payroll, you have a lot of just little things, just based off of accuracy and making sure that your setups were correct. So creating a year-end calendar is great, and it's something that you can always reference back. You can always use for current and upcoming years. And it's a way to kind of keep everybody in line on the same page, so that way they know like what days need to be done for certain things. For my department, I start sending stuff out the beginning of third quarter, reminding clients and employees of, address changes and corrections that need to be made, making sure that everybody was paid their year-end bonuses, or, we have a plan for that, making sure that everything is updated as far as tax forms, if new tax forms are sent out. So we kind of send all that stuff around third quarter, and then we start sending reminders towards the end of the year. So that way, when it becomes, after Christmas, when everyone's tired and traveled out, they know kind of what they're coming back to, and they've already been working on it for the past 3 months or so. So really just try to keep yourself organized. As you start to do something and something gets added to your plate, add that to your calendar. And if it's not necessary, then just check it off and just know that, okay, I know for sure that I didn't have any of this, but I at least thought about it, and I at least went through my records to make sure that it's not necessary. It's a good way to just double check yourself and double check each other as well.